Washington, D.C. The 144th consecutive sellout crowd is on hand tonight here at the stadium because the St. Louis Cardinals are in town to take on the Washington Redskins. The standings in the Eastern Division of the National Football Conference, the Dallas Cowboys on top at the moment. A one-point victory last night, which we brought you over the Giants. St. Louis, they can move into a tie with the Cowboys if they can win tonight. Washington, they could be seeing their season go right out the window if they lose tonight. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and welcome to our second consecutive night of ABC's NFL football. And tonight, another really good matchup in the NFC Eastern Division. The St. Louis Cardinals are in town here in Washington to take on the Redskins. And a smattering of boos greeted the Redskins when they were introduced tonight. The Redskins are in deep trouble. This is a city that lives and dies with this football team. A Redskin game is a social event. Congressmen are here, politicians, hardcore workers are here, and their blue collars. Everyone shows up. And over the past few years, it has been a very happy place to be because they have been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. A year ago, they were 11-5 and won the Eastern Division. They have started this season, however, 1-3, and they are beginning to wonder in this strong Eastern Division of the NFC if indeed the Washington Redskins are not in deep trouble. That's all you hear here in town. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they are flying once again. Perhaps the most explosive offensive combination in football, Neil Lomax to Roy Green, will be represented tonight. It's a defense that is weak, but is coming on. O.J. Anderson is here, so we should have quite a football game. The quarterback's Joe Theismann, a veteran. He's had great years. National Football League's most valuable player, but he's in trouble at the start of this season. Many are blaming Joe for the problems here at the Washington, D.C. We doubt that very seriously because the quarterback usually gets too much blame as well as too much credit. Meanwhile, Neil Lomax is a genuine superstar on the rise, and we're going to watch him tonight, and I think we're going to be watching him go to superstardom in the years to come because he is a very special young man, this quarterback with the St. Louis Cardinals. And let's talk to Joe. You want to know about quarterbacks in trouble with the fans, Joe. Over the years, you've had your ups and downs. It's tough, though, to get off to a start like this, particularly late in your career, as Joe is.
Oh, it's an awful feeling for sure, and Joe's such a great competitor. He's not going to let him get him down. He's going to come back and come back hard. Now, the Washington Redskins are not a good catch-up football team. They're a running football team. When they get behind, they're in big trouble. So to keep St. Louis in check, Washington is going to try and establish this running game. I think we'll see more of John Riggins tonight. They'll try and keep the ball away from St. Louis, but you're not going to stop Neil Lomax, Roy Green, and O.J. Anderson, who is a terrific runner. And speaking of terrific runners, here's my pal, O.J. Simpson.
Well, as you said, Joe, Washington is a running team. They're first and foremost a ball control team, so I'm as perplexed as anyone as to why they're not winning because they're running the ball well. They're #1 in the NFC. Now, if I was the coach of the team, I would decide on Riggins or decide on George Rogers. I'd play him, and I would only take him out of the game when they got tired. But if they're going to win tonight, they're going to have to control the ball on the ground and keep this explosive St. Louis team off the field. The key matchup tonight, well, the color is green. Roy Green and Darrell Green. I'm told that the defensive back, Darrell Green, is going to try to cover Roy Green one-on-one for the majority of the night. And, Frank, that may be an assignment that's just too tough for any defensive back in football.
We wish him well. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet. It's 1986 that your Chevy deal is now. Live today's Chevy, and by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855, and by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company for all your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. We're set to go, and Steve Cox, recently signed, and a former Cleveland Brown by the Washington Redskins, will kick off. There is Stump Mitchell, deep, number 30, back. You saw a quick glimpse of Stump. There he is, dangerous, man. One of the best backup running backs in all of football. Plays behind the great O.J. Anderson. But every time he comes into a football game, he seems to make things happen. Steve Cox kicks off, and he kicks it a long way, hanging it high. That was his trademark with the Cleveland Browns, and Stump Mitchell will bring it out. And he's hit at the 15-yard line, and this is what the crowd loves because they are applauding. The Redskins have given up 37 yards average on kickoff returns, and that's what they are applauding already. Neil Lomax, I spoke of him a moment ago, a young quarterback, now in only his 5th year. He does very special things. Otis Anderson, well, he keeps everything honest because Jim Hannafin, the head coach, really likes to put the ball in the air, and so does Neil Lomax. And well, they should, because Roy Green is great anywhere, and they have a youngster named Pat Tilley. Well, he's not so young anymore, working underneath. Set to go, first down and 10. St. Louis Cardinals at their own 16-yard line. And immediately, Lomax will put it in the air, and He just does get it off. That could have been intercepted. Darrell Grant popped Neil Lomax, beating the block and getting to Lomax before he could get that short little screen off.
And that's going to be an interesting matchup tonight, Darrell Grant and Doug Dawson. That's what the Redskins are going to have to do. Besides keep the ball on offense on the ground, they're going to have to put pressure on Lomax.
Man, of course, coming from the right side, the dangerous man on the pass rush. The linebacking core working without Monty Coleman, who usually comes in against the pass. He's not in there. Darrell Green. O.J. spoke of him a moment ago. They're going to try and stick him with Roy Green much of the evening, but they better help him or it'll be deep trouble for Darrell Green. 2nd and 10. Lomax in trouble. Chased out of the pocket. Now he just dumps it off. Dexter Manley pursuing Lomax with that hot breath on Lomax's back. And the crowd booing somewhat. They are really into this already, this crowd. They are booing because they thought Lomax could have been called for throwing it away.
Well, not only did the cornerbacks and safeties do a terrific job covering that time, but the linebackers, Olkowitz and Kaufman and Malott, they did a heck of a job staying on the backs of the tight end.
Tell you what Lomax did the last time he played these Redskins. That was in December when they lost 27-29. Lomax was 37 of 46, 468 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and they only lost that game when O'Donohue missed a long field goal in the closing seconds. Otherwise, they would have tied last year with Washington. On 3rd and 10, they love to go deep, and Green is there, but he can't reach it. Off the fingertips. No, that was J.T. Smith. Green to the double coverage, and had that been a Roy Green, well, it could have been a sixer.
I've never seen him really overthrow Roy Green. Normally, if the ball's out there like that, Roy will run and get it.
Well, I guess JT's not quite as fast as Roy Green, right?
And there is Ken Jenkins, formerly with the Detroit Lions. He's back on the punt, and if everything goes like Redskins would like it to go, they should have good field position. Good defensive effort on that first series. Birdsong puts it up very high. Jenkins. And puts his head down and just bulls into one hustling Cardinal. That's Harrington, right over the top of Harrington, and he is in the Cardinal territory at the 49-yard line. Joe Theismann, his career average is over 85% his career rating, coming into tonight with a rating of 42.4. 2 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. That's not the Joe Theismann we've known in recent years. Many troubles here with the Redskins. You're looking at an offensive line that has carried the Redskins for the past few years with some changes. Of course, Jeff Bostic still out at the center position with a knee injury from last year. Retired is George Stark. 1st and 10, the Redskins. Their first possession inside Cardinal territory near the 49-yard line. Didier in motion. Here comes Riggins. Riggins hit at the line of scrimmage, squirts off to the left, gets a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Let's take a look at the defense. 14th and last in the conference against the rush. The Redskins would like to exploit that if they could. They're 9th against the pass. Overall, they are 12th in the conference defensively. Cedric Mack is in there at cornerback because there's an injury to Leonard Washington. Freddie Joe Nunn, the rookie first-round pick from Mississippi, is in that defensive unit because of an injury to Thomas Howard at the linebacking position. The 2nd and 8, 3 tight ends for the Redskins. You think they want to run? Riggins with an opening, but he stepped up short of the first down. Sprawls to the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2. It was Leonard Smith up there to make the stop.
You see Riggins, there's a little counter move there, and what they're running is a nice counter. There was a blitz on that side of line of scrimmage. It really developed well there, but you saw Russ Grimm, an all-pro, go by a man. If he would have made that block, would have been much more running room for Riggins.
And that first series of downs, Clint Didier, Don Warren, and Anthony Jones, all tight ends were in the game.
3rd down, just about 3 as they marked it inside the 42. Griffin is in. He works well out of the backfield. But this is Art Monk. Wide open is Art Monk, and he's inside the 25-yard line. Falls down close to the 23 as Benny Perrin was there defensively, but nobody picked Art Monk up as he came along the line of scrimmage. They were in a zone covering deep, but somebody has got to get up close with Art Monk on a 3rd down and 3, or you would think so.
Now, Benny Perrin made the tackle, and just after he made the tackle, he went straight to Leonard Smith, the strong safety, and talked to him. So I believe Smith broke the coverage. It was a nice catch by Art.
There's a man who set an NFL record with 106 receptions a year ago, and he was totally ignored. The first down is inside the 25-yard line of the Cardinals. Opening moments from the nation's capital. The Redskins and the Cardinals. Riggins pursued from behind by David Galloway. Riggins gets just inside the 20-yard line. He'll get 3 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Joe Gibbs. He's perplexed like everyone in the nation's capital about this team. In his 5th year, came here in 81, lost his first 5, won the Super Bowl the following year. The next year they lost the Super Bowl. Last year they were 11-5. They've been on a major roll until they got derailed early in the year. They lost their opener to Dallas. They beat Houston. They lost to the Eagles, and they lost to Chicago. And everyone is wondering what's wrong with this football team. 2nd and 7. Riggins. And this is vintage Gibbs and Washington Redskins football. Just bulling it straight ahead with the big man, John Riggins. CJ Jr. on the bottom of that pile as Riggins brings the Redskins to a 3rd down and a long 2 situations.
And with the way the rules are in the NFL this year, this is almost impossible to do.
I know. And St. Louis happens to have the worst rushing defense in the NFL, giving up 4.9 yards per average carry.
They didn't have enough room to point out the Redskins have only scored 2 touchdowns rushing and 2 touchdowns passing in 4 games. Riggins trying to get to the 1st down. I don't think he made it. E.J. Jr. slipped out there from middle linebacker, tripped him up. And it could be an early decision now for Joe Gibbs.
Well, I hope he goes for it.
It'll be 4th down.
The St. Louis team, they're capable of scoring a lot of points.
Mosley started out on the field and then was called back. All right. Mosley, of course, the field goal kicker. John Riggins is in the lineup. They bring in Otis Wansley. He likes to block for John Riggins. He's been doing it for several years and doing it very effectively. He wears 39. The ball will go to Riggins. Good bootleg by Theismann. It'll be a touchdown. I don't know whether it was a call play or not. You know, Joe, sometimes you call it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, well, sometimes the quarterback won't tell anyone else because he wants everyone to carry out their fakes. John Riggins made a heck of a face diving over the line of scrimmage.
You can feel this stadium rocking. Our cameras are actually shaking. Beautiful fake. Riggins covers it up.
Now, apparently, it was a design play because Riggins had no hesitation once he didn't get the ball.
They love it here in the nation's capital. Mosley for the conversion and the Redskins. First possession. They began at their 49-yard line to the 49-yard line of the Cardinals, and they have taken it in a little more than 4 minutes. Theismann on the bootleg. The slump busters, and the Redskins have been in a slump. This is a tough division they're in. The Dallas Cowboys now 4-1, and the Cardinals can join them for the win tonight. And these teams are not going to collapse, the Giants, Cowboys, or St. Louis. So the Redskins, if they fall to a 1-4 tonight, they are going to be in deep trouble. And this has been the major concern around the nation's capital. Stump Mitchell is back once again. And Steve Cox, who spent 4 years with the Cleveland Browns, was brought in because of the injury to the punter and the place kicker. Jeff Hayes, in last week's Chicago game, puts the foot to it. Mitchell will bring it out from the goal line. And once again, it was Wansley hustling downfield. He has been openly criticized, not only by the coaching staff here, but by the press for maybe slumping off a little bit on the special teams. And he was down there for the stop. Let's look at the touchdown again, the bootleg by Theismann.
What's interesting on that play is they could have given the ball to Riggins. There was such a big hole there. Riggins wanted to jump over a pile, but the hole was too big, and he just jumped over air.
Yeah, man, I really like the way Joe Theismann kept his eye on John for just a split second after the fake. It really drew the linebacker in.
That's Perry Harrington down. He was hustling down on that kickoff. And the training staff is out there looking at him. And here is Jim Hannafin. Interesting story with Joe Gibbs and Jim Hannafin. Back in 1973, they were with Don Coryell with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then later, they coached together in 1979 with the San Diego Chargers once again under Don Coryell. Very good friends. They know a lot about each other. We'll be right back.
When St. Louis and Washington met on Monday Night Football, October 25th, 1976, the Redskins set an NFL record with 8 fumble recoveries, and they went on to win 20-10.
Perry Harrington, the injured Cardinal, walked off the field without assistance. They are now looking at his left arm and left shoulder. Now, meanwhile, the Cardinals, once again, deep in their own territory, their second possession will begin at the 13-yard line. Their first possession on the opening kickoff opened at the 16-yard line. Earl Farrell, 31, Otis Anderson, 32, are in the backfield for the Cardinals. Play action again. Lomaxon again, pressure, and he'll go down. That's Charles Mann, the defensive left end. And the Redskins, who have had a third ranking in the NFC in defense, that's about all they've been doing fairly well this season. Get the sack. That's their 14th of the season. All the way back to just about the 8-yard line. Charles Mann in on the stop. And now the Cardinals deep in their own territory. With respect, Joe, you can look for some kind of a trap, some kind of a screen, something very conservative, not to turn it over.
I look for the bomb, too, with single coverage out here.
Anderson is tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, and he works for a couple of yards. Darrell Grant sliding out there from right tackle to make the stop, and getting help from Rich Malott.
Well, one of the big criticisms of this Washington team is that they've been playing without intensity, especially on their special teams. Well, the first two kickoffs, we saw that this team is sky high. When you look on the sidelines now, they're sky high.
They're down at 14. Time remaining in the first quarter. The Redskins on top. They scored on their very first possession. Heisman rolling it in on a bootleg from 14 yards out. Lomax again needs to shoot out of the pocket. Fires to J.T. Smith. And Smith comes down with it, and he's going to have close to first down yardage. J.T. Smith, recently acquired Kansas City, had some great years out there, particularly as a return man. He gets the first down, and Lomax, with that powerful arm, was able to deliver it, and J.T. Smith knew exactly where he was. That's the first down marker right by his foot. Good move by J.T. Smith. Cardinals get out of trouble. Ball just inside the Cardinals' 25-yard line. Lomax, this time moving left. Fires it to Green. And Roy Green will have another first down. The ball is loose, and there's a scramble. And the Redskins, this is what has made their years for the past 3 years, a turnover. This time they get another one. Mel Kaufman, the coming end of the night, they were minus 12 in the takeaway giveaway ratings. Got it in there, Joe.
Yeah, he did. It was his own defense that time, and Roy Green just found the open spot, but he forgot to hold on to the ball.
Swarming defense, and that is what has caused so many fumbles and interceptions by this Redskins defense over the years. They have not had it in the first 4 games. They are back to it tonight. A very spirited defensive team. Again, on the ground. This time it's George Rogers. Hard to tell which one's going to be in there. There really is no philosophy, I don't think, to how they bring George Rogers in. I think they run Riggins until he gets a little tired. He's up there in years, and then they bring in George Rogers, who, of course, had those great years down in New Orleans, former Heisman Award winner at South Carolina, and acquired by the Redskins for a first-round draft pick in the offseason. Second down and 8. Ball inside the 40-yard line of the Cardinals. That's Monk in motion. This is George Rogers again. And Rogers bowls for a couple. It'll be third down and 5, and we're back in that situation, O.J., that I know that you don't care much about. When you're running back, you like to stand there and run the football.
Well, I think you have to get the feel of the game. There are runners around the league that are more effective rotating, but when you have a back like George Rogers, he's accustomed to running the ball 30 times a game, just like Riggins would be if he was a little younger. And for them to have the proper feel of the game, you got to give him the ball and leave him in there.
Third down and 5. 4 wide receivers in there for the Redskins. Heisman buys the time. Fires it out to Barnwell, and Barnwell will have a first down. He's down close to the 24-yard line, working in front of Wayne Smith. And Theismann, who has been much maligned here in the nation's capital, is hot tonight thus far.
This is just a nice little out pattern. Wayne Smith just gives him a little too much room. I think Wayne was afraid he was going deep.
That's only the 3rd reception of the season for Barnwell. Barnwell, of course, came just prior to the season from the Raiders, where he was a starter a year ago with 45 receptions. No one could figure out why Barnwell had been fairly well shut out thus far this season. Well, he gets a Redskin first down at the 24-yard line. Rogers hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll squeeze a couple out of that one. E.J. Jr. and Duda. Defensively, Jr. has been a very active middle linebacker thus far.
Well, that's what they'll do, a good running team, especially when they're controlling the offensive line like the Redskins are right now. They'll force those linebackers to make all the tackles, and that's going to open up that short passing game.
Cardinals' Perry Harrington was injured earlier. We get a report from the bench. He will be back. He has a sore shoulder. Second down and 7. Rogers. And the former Heisman Award winner gets 4. It'll be third down and 3. Freddie Joe Nunn makes the stop with help from Mark Duda. Sellout crowd here. Over 55,000, but they've been sold out. This is the 144th consecutive game. Football, the Redskins, and the nation's capital. It's a happening, and it has been for years, dating back to George Allen days in the 70s, and more recently under young Joe Gibbs. Third down and 3, and Griffin will be held short right at the line of scrimmage. And now I believe we'll see Mark Mosley.
Well, Benny Perrin came with a free safety blitz that time and kind of fouled up the blocking.
Yeah, but George Rogers, he has to be able to catch the ball somewhat. And on a third down, when you have a guy like him and a guy like Riggins, between the two of them, you must be paying them $1.5 million. They should be in the ball game on third down.
I agree.
Mosley is 4-5 on the year, one of that vanishing breed, a straightaway kicker. And the Redskins, who have been shuffling their personnel this past week, are going to have to use a timeout because Joe Theismann looks around and he only has 10 folks out there. That won't do it. Charles Mann was late getting out there, and a timeout is wasted as Theismann moves over to the sideline.
Boy, that's a bad mistake.
I want to remind you, Saturday, good football coming your way. 2 undefeated teams. It'll be Penn State going against Alabama, 6th-ranked Penn State, headed, of course, by head coach Joe Paterno. Ray Perkins leading Alabama. They are 8th-ranked. Should be a good football game. You'll see it live at 3 o'clock Eastern time from State College, Pennsylvania, right here on ABC Sports. Have you been following your alma mater, Joe?
Yeah, I've been following them, and they're doing a good job. You know, I hate to see teams waste timeouts. We had a game last night with the Giants, and if they had another timeout or two, who knows what would have happened. Here we had a man just simply forget to get out on the football field, and it cost his team a timeout. That may come back to haunt him.
I imagine it's the same as when I play. This used to drive coaches up the wall. It really does. I mean, you rehearse this, you practice it. You come out here on usually a Saturday for a Sunday game. You do it on a Sunday for a Monday game. You go through these special teams. Somebody doesn't show up, you blow that time out.
And why do you have Charles Mann, who is a defensive end, out there blocking anyway? Why wouldn't you use an offensive lineman? They have the Hogs. Meantime, they send out a defensive end to block for the field goal.
Well, he's as big as any of the Hogs. He's 6'6" and 260.
You want your biggest guys on those field goals and those PAT teams. You look at Dallas. They had 2 tall Jones blocking on their BA and field goal teams.
I'd be afraid the kicker would hit him in the back of the head if he stood up.
Washington into tonight 1-3. The Cards are 3-1. The Cards got off to a good start. They beat Cleveland 27-24. They beat Cincinnati. Then they lost to the Giants. Then they beat Green Bay 43-28. Little more than 6 minutes remaining from the nation's capital. The Redskins off to a good start. Joe Theismann took the first possession after the defense held the Cardinals inside their own territory, inside Cardinal territory. Theismann rolled it in for 14 yards out. Now on their second drive, Mosley puts it through the uprights from 33 yards out, and the Redskins have a 10-0 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm sure this is not what Jim Hannaford, the coach of the Cardinals, had in mind when they came into the stadium tonight. We knew they made him tough at Jackson State, and of course where Walter Payton is from, and Perry Harrington back in the ball game. He was shaken up. He was on the field for several minutes. Went to the sidelines. He's back in the game. And Stump Mitchell is deep to await the kickoff of Steve Cox. Steve Cox is a lot into the ball. He has a 60-yard field goal to his credit with the Cleveland Browns. And he was brought in, as I mentioned earlier, because of an injury a week ago to the punter and place kicker Jeff Hayes of the Redskins. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell was tripped up again at the 15-yard line, but this time he sprawls out over the 20-yard line. At least the Cardinals will have a little bit better field position. And we know the Redskins will not get cocky with a 10-0 lead, because that was the situation in their last game against the Chicago Bears. And the Bears rolled up 45 unanswered points. They took the kickoff after the field goal that put Washington up 10-0, and Willie Gault took it 99 yards for a touchdown. And that was the play in which the punter and kickoff man Jeff Hayes was injured. It was Katie Barr the door after that, as the Bears went on to a 45-10 victory. First and 10. Cardinals from their 21-yard line. Again, Lomax in the crowd. Down he goes again. 3 consecutive series now. Lomax has been sacked. This is the loss all the way to the 11-yard line. It was Dave Butts getting in, forcing the stack right into Lomax.
Well, again, this is what Washington has to do, get pressure on Lomax. The reason he didn't throw this ball, by the way, it was very good defensive coverage by Tony Peters. He's trying to get to his left, and here he just simply trips and falls.
You get that pile back in the quarterback space, and it's tough to move around back there.
Tough to move around, tough to see as well.
Second down and a little more than 20. Anderson, he gets some of it back out over the 15-yard line to the 17. It'll be third and long, third and about 14, as Charles Mann nails Anderson. He's a dangerous man. They use him really as the honesty factor, if you will, on the run. You can't come in and just all-out pass rush against the Cardinals, because this man will burn you if you do. He's a good receiver. He had 70 receptions a year ago. And, of course, it's a deadly runner. Third and 14 from the shotgun. Pressure again. Man from the right side. He hit Lomax. The ball came loose. And that was one wide open shot. Lomax never had a chance. No one even touched man.
Old Tootie Robbins, he better get his helmet on straight. Man just whipped him severely that time to get in on Lomax.
Second sack for man. And that one had to hurt Lomax. The crowd, listen to them. They've had little to cheer. And the Redskins are going to get it back in good field position once again. Carl Birdsong. Once again, kicking from deep in his own territory. We'll watch it from the end zone. Ken Jenkins is positioned up about midfield for the Redskins. Not a good kick by Birdsong. And it hit a Redskin up at the 46-yard line. Stuart Anderson covers it, and the Redskins will have a first and 10. They'll have it at the Cardinals' 45-yard line. They have a 10-0 lead, 4:18 remaining in the first quarter. We're looking forward to that one. That'll be up in New York, of course. Dan Marino and Ken O'Brien, the quarterback of the Jets, coming on. Freeman McNeil running well again for the Jets. And as Dan Marino is starting to come back for him also. First and 10, the Redskins at the 45-yard line of the Cardinals. Heisman again with a lot of time. Heisman trying to get it into Calvin Muhammad. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. It was Nico Noga chasing Heisman over to the sideline. The Redskins defense has been strong. They have forced the Cardinals offense to punt away deep in their own territory. The Redskins' 3 possessions thus far tonight have been at the 49, the 42, and the 45. So they've been averaging their offensive starts at the 45-yard line of the Cardinals. That's a rare happening for the Redskins this season. Second and 10. Rogers, a lot of Cardinals out there with him. Now Bubba Baker, principally the big defensive left end. Pretty bright, Bubba Baker. He's seen just about everything you could throw at him, the former All-Pro from the Detroit Lions.
Isn't it interesting that you come out on your first 2 series, you do what you do best. You run the ball and throw when you have to. You get 2 scores. Then you get excellent field position the third time you come out, and you don't do what you do best.
I'm surprised, too. We've said from the beginning of the show, Washington has to run the football.
They're in the third and 15. They bring in Keith Griffin. He's number 35. They work him out of the backfield like they used to do with Joe Washington, who's now with Atlanta. Theismann in trouble. And he was in the arms. That will be the ruling. I don't believe it'll be grounding the ball because the whistle had blown. Theismann tried to get rid of it, but the sack is all the way back to the 40-yard line. Baker and Galloway were both there for the Cardinals, and this time the Cardinals could get a bit of a break as Steve Cox comes on to punt.
They got a break when the Redskins decided not to run at him.
One of the problems with Cox with the Cleveland Browns, he had 5 punts blocked in 4 years. The Cardinals know that. He's a very slow kicker. Long stride with Steve Cox. He was replaced this year, and of course, as I mentioned several times now, was brought in because of the injury to Jeff Hayes a week ago against Chicago. Cardinals did go for it. Cox hurries it and gets it off, and it takes a Washington bounce. And a terrific bounce for Washington down close to the 7-yard line. Barry Wilburn will down it, but on a not-so-good kick, Steve Cox with the roll gets 56 yards. And again, one that probably should have been handled back there. J.T. Smith was back and used to handle the punt return duties for the Kansas City Chiefs. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, he was in the Pro Bowl as a punt return man. He had a 14-yard average. So the Cardinals, once again, reach in their own territory near the 7-yard line. Trailing 10-0. 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. J.T. Smith. And Smith will have a first down. He's up close to the 18-yard line. Barry Wilburn, rookie 8th-round draft pick from Mississippi, was there defensively to make the stop. Let's look at it from the end zone.
I look for St. Louis to have success passing. They've been throwing the ball on everyone else in the NFL. And the way Washington is playing, they're mixing the zone and man-to-man coverages up. But they have been running a lot of man-to-man coverages, so they will get burned.
They're throwing to the right. Probably so Lomax should keep an eye on Charles Mann. Been in his face all night. Lomax trying to take it up deep. J.T. Smith was the intended receiver, and either J.T. Smith ran the wrong route or Lomax was certainly anticipating something different. There's Scott Bruner, the backup quarterback, number 12. They always seem to get out to that early start, the Washington Redskins. And then they've had trouble, as you can see, in the 3rd and the 4th period. Their opponents have had great success against the Redskins in the 4th quarter. Could be the conditioning factor. Maybe the Redskins are out of shape. 2nd and 10. That's Farrell in motion. O.J. Anderson. And the defense stretches it out. And Anderson is held for about a yard. Olkowitz was there. Dave Butts was there. Kaufman. It'll be 3rd and long. They'll bring in a couple of extra defensive backs for the Redskins. And the Cardinals offensive unit answers with additional wide receivers. Otis Anderson, also very effective receiver out of the backfield. I mentioned earlier, 70 receptions a year ago. He can turn a 3-yarder into something very dramatic. Lomax fires a shot, and that is Pat Tilley. And Tilley will have a Cardinal first down out close to the 36-yard line. Vernon Dean made the stop. Tilley is only caught 4 coming into tonight. 3 of those were last week.
Tilley's on the right of the screen, and he's running a crossing pattern. It's simply man-to-man coverage by Washington, and Tilley with the inside release got ahead of the defender, Vernon Dean, right away. Dean just couldn't catch up to him.
Great performer over the years for the Cardinals. That's his 421st reception. First down, Cardinals. He trails 10-0. Again, Lomax takes out of the pocket. He hook slides out over the 40-yard line. He'll get 6 yards out of that. And the football game breaks up.
I don't know what Dexter Manley is upset with. Otis Anderson really laid a nice block on him, but it was perfectly legal. I think Dexter didn't like the somersault that he had.
The finger is pointed, and obviously pointed at Otis Anderson.
And last play, by the way, Lomax was a little crossed up. It appeared to be the Washington Redskins went away from their man defense and played a zone. He just didn't have anywhere to throw the ball.
No flags down. No, it'll be 2nd down and 5 as they mark it at the 40-yard line. Maybe we can see this. It'll be Otis Anderson. He's number 32, bottom of your screen on the left. And Manley doesn't see him. And Dexter Manley, I think, probably felt grave danger about his knees. He didn't like that. But again, a clean block. Lomax. Roy Green. And Green, who has burned the Redskins so many times, will have a Cardinal first down inside the 40-yard line. As a matter of fact, last year, Roy Green, in the 2 games, just was dynamite. Let's take a look at him again. 4 touchdowns he scored last year. He just put so much pressure on. He drives that cornerback deep. The cornerback has got to respect that speed. And as you can see, it's Darrell Green. Even with his great speed, he had to give Roy Green a lot of room to work.
And with the play action fake, too, Rick Millot, the linebacker, couldn't get back in the coverage to give any underneath help to Green.
Green has 8 touchdowns in 8 games in starter against Washington. Last year in 2 games, nearly 360 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averaged over 25 yards. Anderson. That's what he does best. He breaks tackles. Doesn't get the first down, but he's only a yard short as Mel Kaufman had to make the stop. And that should be the final play of the quarter unless we have it stopped for some reason. So the Cardinals finally get out of their own territory. They'll have a 2nd down and 1 at the Redskins 31-yard line when we come back to the nation's capital right after this. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet. 1986 at your Chevy dealers now. Live today's Chevy. 2nd quarter action, and the Redskins are on top 10-0. But the Cardinals are on the move, finally getting out of their own territory. Only in this drive. The Redskins have backed him up. They have sacked Lomax 3 different times. But he has just connected with Roy Green for the first down. And O.J. Anderson has moved 9 on the very first carry. So it's 2nd down and 1. The ball inside the 31-yard line of the Redskins. O.J. Anderson gets a good block from Farrell. Anderson gets the first down at the 25-yard line, and there is a Redskin down. Yeah. It is Vernon Dean. He was the back that Otis Anderson just lowered the shoulder and really nailed.
Well, that's a tribute to Otis Anderson. The fact that he is so fluid, he is so shifty, but he's also 220-something pounds. So when a defensive back comes up at 190 pounds, he's worried about getting faked. So he has to be light on his feet, and Otis can plant and deliver the blow as he did on that play.
Anderson took one look at Vernon Dean, who actually is 178 pounds. He just lowered his shoulder and ran right over.
That's the second guy that Otis has sent to the sidelines because of Dexter Manley, who was hurt earlier, or was mad earlier at Otis Anderson. He's on the sideline.
There's Anderson. He has the football.
Now, you see...
There's Vernon Dean. He's 32 also. And he just is not big enough to handle that. And he remains on the natural surface here at RFK Stadium. They continue to look at Vernon Dean.
Vernon did technically a bad thing. He went in there head first with his head down.
Once again, a week from tonight, Miami Dolphins will be in New York to take on the Jets. Jets got off to a horrendous start against the Raiders in the first game, but they have pulled it together. They are 4-1. They're getting great play from Freeman McNeil. He can be just about as good as there is in this game today running the football when he's right. And of course, Dan Marino doesn't have the duper, but he has the other Mark Clayton. Had 5 receptions yesterday as Miami beat Pittsburgh 24-21. And there's Big John Reagans. And meanwhile, they continue to look at his teammate out on the field, Vernon Dean.
O.J. Anderson made a nice gesture there. He went over to check on Dean to see if he was all right. Good sportsmanship.
Anderson had a tough time in the Cardinals' only loss of the season to the Giants. I was at that game up in New York, and he went out of the game on 3 different occasions with 3 different injuries. He injured his back. He's had a neck injury, a leg injury, and maybe it was just coincidence, but that's the game that the Cardinals have lost in the season thus far. They lost it to the Giants 27-17. Greg Williams comes in at right cornerback, replacing Dean, number 47. The first down at 10, developed at 25-yard line of the Redskins. Lomax. J.T. Smith inside the 10-yard line, and Lomax getting the time now. He's got the hot hand. He is throwing those little short ones, and that will keep the defense off of him. There's Smith, just a little slant in, timed out beautifully between linebackers. In between Okowitz and Kaufman, and the first down is inside the 10-yard line. First down, goal to go.
Got to watch J.T. Smith. He can run with the ball after he catches it. In 1980, he was an All-Pro. He led the NFL in punt returns with Kansas City.
Roy Green is split to the left. Silly to the right. Lomax tries to get it into the tight end. That's LaFleur. It's incomplete. It'll be second down, goal to go. Meanwhile, Tilley was wide open over on the other side. A 10-year veteran. But as you saw, Lomax was looking all the way to the tight end. Never even looked to the right. It'll be second down and 9.
Well, you can bet Philly's going to let Lomax know about that pattern, and they'll come back to it later in the game.
11th play of this drive. That's Roy Green on the loose. Lomax in trouble. Tries to go to Doug Marsh, but he threw the ball falling away. It'll be third down, goal to go. Oh, you think back to a year ago when the Cardinals came in here with the division on the line, final game of the season. Lomax, I mentioned, was 37 of 46, 468 yards, a couple of touchdowns. It's just almost unbelievable, Joe. In the second half, he was 25 of 28 in the second half alone, 314 yards. And you can't stand out there and play catch and do that.
No, and what I don't understand is why they're not throwing at Barry Wilburn, the replacement for Vernon Dean.
Third down, goal to go. Shotgun. Lomax. And Lomax to the 4-yard line, and he pays dearly as he was hit by Okowitz. Took a shot right in the back. And it's fourth down. We'll see the field goal unit. We understand that Vernon Dean has a mild concussion, and we do not know whether he will be back.
Well, when you have a substitute come into the game, obviously the substitute, because he can't play as well as the guy ahead of him, seems to me that that's the man I'd be throwing at.
Neil O'Donohue, 7 of 10 this season. The best effort this year, 49 yards. Scott Brunner is the holder. This will be a 22-yard attempt to put the Cards on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. And so the drive pays off for the Cardinals. They put 3 on the board. They trail the Redskins 10-3. Early moments of the second quarter from Washington, D.C. Ken Jenkins is deep for the Washington Redskins. He's urging the crowd to get into it, and they come to their feet. They've got them trained down here. Sickles, go get it. Bring it back. They are all on their feet. Neil O'Donohue to kick off. This has been the quarter that has really hurt the Redskins this season. They have given up 61 points in the second quarters of the games that they have played. O'Donohue puts it up high. Jenkins from the 3-yard line. And Jenkins moves it out to the right side. The flag goes down late. Jenkins is up to the 29-yard line, but again, flags are down.
I think they're going to call roughing on O'Donohue, and this may be the first penalty on a kicker that I've ever seen.
He's a big man. He goes 6'6". Personal foul, and the Redskins will get additional yardage. A referee tonight, Tom Dooley.
Personal foul, number 11 of the kicking team, hit out of bounds.
It was O'Donohue, and it's a first for me, Joe. I've never seen a kicker get involved in one of these. Not in front of the opposition bench either.
And he better look out for that payback element, you know. He really didn't hit him hard. Just a little bump. Looky here. That's nothing.
Well, I think it's the forearm that he got in there. He's slightly out of bounds, but put that forearm under the chin. Gives the Redskins a first down at the 44-yard line, which incidentally is their worst starting field position of the night. Rogers turns on that burst of speed. You can understand why he has been so effective since he came up as the #1 draft pick for the New Orleans Saints.
Well, they're back to the running game, and with their running game, as good as it is, they ought to stick to it.
The rookie, over 1,600 yards and 83, over 1,100 yards. Last year, 914 yards because he was sharing the running duties with Earl Campbell. Neither one of them like that. Don Phillips straightened that all out. Sent Rogers to the Washington Redskins. He got the first down, and he works again. And down close to the 40-yard line. That's good running. Strong running, O.J.
Yeah, they can do this all night against this Cardinal defense. Cardinals haven't proven they can stop the run yet, and this is what Washington does best, so they should just do it all night long.
And what this is going to do, if they are successful running the ball, the St. Louis team is going to have to bring their safeties up and start playing a tougher defense, a tighter defense, so that would open up the outside passing game.
They mark it at the 41-yard line of the Cardinals. It'll be second down at 4. Washington averaging 4.7 a carry. Rogers held short of a first down, but up there fairly close. Nico Noga defensively. There is Noga from the University of Hawaii. E.J. Jr. says he runs like a deer and he hits like a soda pop machine. You just saw a piece of it. Wansley comes in, and of course they bring Riggins in on short yardage. They always do that. Consequently, Riggins is averaging well under 4 yards a carry, but he works from the goal line offense and short yardage. That's Wansley on the move. They'll come right over Wansley. Riggins almost breaks it. Gets inside the 30. Al Baker finally gets him in pursuit. Had that been Rogers, that might have been 6.
Yeah, but I don't know if Rogers would have worked his way through the pile. That's one thing that John is real adept at. Once he get inside all that traffic, he keeps his legs moving real well, and he gets low, and he runs better in short yardage situations. I can't explain it. He just does a better job of it.
First down is inside the 30-yard line.
But has something to do with 14 years of playing.
Rogers, just the entire stack is driven back by Rogers inside the 25. He gets 6 out of it. It'll be second down and 4. And when Tony Dorsett gets 100 yards, the Cowboys are 40-2. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves around the circuit.
KMBC TV, Channel 9, Kansas City, Missouri.
We have 9:37 remaining in the first half. The Redskins on the prowl once again. They lead the St. Louis Cardinals 10-3. They have dominated offensively. Cardinals only able to mount one drive. This is George Rogers. He'll have another Redskins first down. Inside the 20. Down close to the 17-yard line. Ken Huff with a terrific block. Pulling from the right side ahead of George Rogers.
And what makes it go is Big Joe Jacoby and Russ Grimm on that side. They're just collapsing that left side over there. They're doing an excellent job of just blowing these guys off the line of scrimmage.
Rogers put the finger up, said, "Get me out of here. I've been working." Not bad when you have somebody come in like John Riggins. They marked it right at the 17-yard line. 3 tight ends are in. I'd have to suspect that Rogers might have got popped. He has not carried the ball since he came in the last time only 3 times. They pile up Riggins inside the 15. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 8.
But and the other thing about Rogers coming out, I think mentally he has to toughen up a little bit, because last year he switched with Earl Campbell. This year he's been switching with John Riggins, and for a running back you got to work, man. You got to run the ball and get mentally tough, and looking for somebody to come in every other series, you're not going to get mentally tough.
He was one of the bright spots a week ago against Chicago. He had consecutive runs of 28 and 29 yards. He's getting a breather, and Riggins stays on. Second down and 7. Riggins, the big diesel, to the 10-yard line. It'll be third down and 4. Duda was there defensively, and the passing specialists come in. That means Gary Clark, USFLer from Jacksonville, where he had 56 receptions in 1984. Keith Griffin, brother of Heisman Award winner Archie Griffin and Ray Griffin, is in there, number 35. Had a great career down at the University of Miami with Bernie Kosar. Good career down the backfield, Keith Griffin, 35. A lot of time for Heisman. And wide open was Gary Clark. He's only 5'9". He didn't have to be very big because he was spectacularly open. Nobody even close to him.
Gary beat Cedric Mack to the inside that time, and Joe Theismann really threw a good pass. He had some heat on that ball, and it was on the money.
Well, perhaps they were riding the Redskins off just a little early. With 7:25 remaining in the half. They strike once again. Look at the time he had. The Hogs up front. Great blocking. The big men giving him a lot of time. Theismann zipped it in between his blockers, and it was Clark beating Mack. The conversion by Mosley, and the Redskins fans love it. We'll be right back. Midway through the second period, the Redskins have a 17-3 lead. The crowd loves it, but they also are apprehensive. They remember last December, and it was at halftime a dominating lead by the Washington Redskins. 23-7. And that game wound up in the closing seconds with the Cardinals almost winning and missing a field goal by O'Donohue. The Redskins winning it and the division 29-27. Cardinals trouble on defense, but still a very explosive offense. Steve Cox. And it takes Washington bounce and it does get into the end zone. It's covered by Stump Mitchell. That'll be the touchback, and the Cardinals will get it out at the 20-yard line.
I wouldn't expect Stump Mitchell to let that ball hit the ground. You want to try and handle these things if you can. He could have run up there and caught that. Okay?
Maybe the ball was coming like a knuckleball, and I think he just couldn't judge it.
Neil Lomax comes back out. He has been hammered tonight already. 3 times he's been sacked. The Redskins have turned one other thing around. Into tonight's game through the first 4 games, they had only started 2 drives in their opponent's territory. They've done that 3 times tonight, and they have made it paid off. First and 10, the Cardinals at their own 20-yard line. That's Roy Green, the big play man, number 81. Lomax to Tilley, and Tilley breaks the tackle and gets out close to the 27-yard line. Neil Okowitz covered Tilley there. Tilley got 7 out of it.
What a fine receiver Pat Tilley is, and he really compliments Roy Green. Tilley's a smart pattern runner, and Green has the speed. They really do a good job complimenting each other.
It'll be second down and 3. Green and Tilley both deployed to the left. They'll usually work one of them back in motion. That's Farrell. And they'll have a Cardinal first down out of the 30-yard line. Last year, Cardinals winding up with a 9-7 season. Tied with Dallas and the Giants. They lost the possible wild card in the playoffs because of the tie-breaking system. They have not been in the playoffs since '75. That was Don Coryell last year. Not his last year, but it was Don Coryell who took them to the playoffs in '75. They've had a long dry spell. First and 10, the Cardinals near their own 32-yard line. That's J.T. Smith. Barry Wilburn, the rookie from Mississippi, was covering J.T. He's close to a first down, missing by about a foot. There is Wilburn, one of 2 Mississippi rookies on the field tonight. The other one, of course, the #1 draft pick for St. Louis, Freddie Joe Nunn. Yeah, they are some real characters in this ballpark in Washington. Over the years, the past 4 years, they have had so much to feel proud about. Redskins even coming back from their losing Super Bowl effort. They were met by thousands of them. Second and less than a yard. A waist down, Lomax considers it. Dumps it off to Farrell. He has the first down. And he's up close to midfield. Mel Coffin made the stop. But again, Lomax is really getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that last play, though, 2nd and 1, sometimes you expect the defense to be blitzing or coming hard to protect against the first down gain. You know, they figure they're going to run the ball. Well, Lomax picked it up and went for the bomb. So Washington was in a loose zone defense that time, so he couldn't get deep.
If Lomax throws 3 more passes, and we suspect he will qualify for the NFL rating of passes. And he has a rather remarkable statistic. He will move into 2nd place behind Joe Montana as the 2nd-rated passer of all time. This is his 17th attempt of the night. O.J. Anderson. And on the first down, Anderson will get 6 inside the 45-yard line of the Redskins.
Otis is just a pleasure to watch. He catches a little short pass like that, turns around, there's 3 guys there. Instead of putting his head down and getting a few yards, he jumps 1 guy and he's trying to break it.
Dave Butts has come out of the lineup. Durable Dave Butts, 13-year veteran who began his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was holding his shoulder, I believe, his left shoulder. A rookie from Tulsa, Dean Hamill, a 12th-round draft pick, number 78, is in there for Dave Butts. 2nd down, long 4. Flags are down. You saw the movement, I think, and Anderson is brought behind the line of scrimmage. There was movement. I don't know whether the Redskins were drawn off or not.
Well, Roy Green was in motion, and I gather his assignment was to block the outside linebacker, and he started upfield just a little too quickly.
Here's Tom Dooley.
Illegal motion. 81 offense. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Redskins, a lot of confidence in their defense. They declined the 5-yard penalty. They'd rather see the Cardinals lose the down. Once again, it'll be Miami and the New York Jets. And you know what we did? We sort of projected Dan Marino's rating all time if he were eligible. Now, you need 1,500 attempts to become eligible. We told you Lomax with a couple more will move into 2nd place all time in the rating. Lomax will be ahead of Montana by almost 8 rating points. 3rd and 5. Roy Green dropped the ball and it was right in his hands for a first down and much more. Roy Green has 1 fumble. He has 1 drop pass tonight that would have given the Cardinals a first down deep in Washington territory. Ken Jenkins now will drop back and Carl Birdsong comes on for the Cardinals. Jenkins with a little over a 10-point average returning punts, as we mentioned earlier, with the Detroit Lions over the past couple of years. Mike Nelms with the Redskins for so many years during their winning season. 45-man roster. Nelms became expendable. High kick. Cardinals try to get down under it, and they do not make it. It will be a touchback, and the Redskins will have the ball at the 20-yard line. That punt 46 yards, but it nets out at 26. We'll be right back. The Redskins, Dave Butts, working on his left arm or left shoulder. And that would be quite a loss for these Redskins. The big man over the left side who was drafted originally in 1973, number 1 by the Cardinals. First down and 10 the Redskins. They have a 17-3 lead. 3:37 remaining in the half, and they'll keep it on the ground. Over on the left side, George Rogers works for about 3. Up over the 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
The big thing that George Rogers will give him that John Riggins at his current age will not is as the game goes on, he should get stronger, and as you wear the defense down, he has the ability to break the long run.
Rogers 48 yards thus far during the first half on 10 carries. Rogers. Nothing happening on the outside. Breaks it back to the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Nico Noga and Al Baker there defensively.
I was wondering when Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator and line coach of the Cardinals, would get smart, because in the previous drive, Washington ran that same counter play at least 5 times, and they got at least 5 yards each time they ran it. They've adjusted to it, and they've stopped it the last 2 times.
A couple of contrasting philosophies there, as the game has been dictating that the Redskins keep it on the ground, which they like to do. Cardinals like to put it in the air. Third and long. Theismann. Monk. Monk spins out of the Cardinals' hands. Gets the first down up to the 33-yard line. He was nailed by Lee Nelson short of the first down. He twisted loose and got the first down for the Redskins as we head to the 2-minute warning. Art Monk, who had just such a great year last year with 106 receptions, setting an NFL mark. It's a Redskin first down, and now the Redskins have 3 timeouts, or rather 2 timeouts, 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 2 minutes remaining from halftime here at Robert F. Kennedy Stadium in the nation's capital. The Redskins dominating early going here against the St. Louis Cardinals. They have the ball, first down and 10 at their own 33-yard line with 2 minutes remaining, and they have the 2 timeouts. There is a look at Joe Gibbs, who has been shuffling personnel over the past week, trying to get something happening. The Redskins have it motoring tonight. Rogers on first down. Rogers with good running. That's great running. Just slid inside a tackle, gets another Redskin first down over the 45-yard line. He makes it look so effortless, but the little move he made there, Juice, there's only a few backs can do it.
Well, they got away with it. They've moved E.J. Jr. from the middle over to the left side, and maybe is just not comfortable playing there now. He's been playing in the middle all season, and they sort of moved him off the line of scrimmage on that play.
Skins with the first down at their own 45-yard line. Rogers works again, left side. This time out of the line of scrimmage, surges for a yard. And now the Redskins will use one of their timeouts. They'll be down to 1. And Theismann will move over to the sidelines and talk with Coach Joe Gibbs. They've been doing it on the ground. It'll give us an opportunity to bring you up to date a little more on what's going around in the league. We brought you some of the highlights last night. George Rogers catching a breath.
Do you think that's why he went for that? He wanted to make the airplane. That was a strange call.
John Robinson and the Rams said, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
he's got Eric Dickerson.
That's right. Those coaches like to stick together, too.
Of course, you kick a field goal, you get the tie, you lose the toss, and with the field goal kickers around today, Lansford of the Rams, he can hit from a long way out.
That Ram defense is tough this year, though.
Can't fault many of the decisions Bud Grant has made over the years. Second down and 9 for the Redskins. 1:17 remaining in the half. They have 1 timeout. Theismann. Strong arms it deep. And a good defensive play. Wayne Smith. He was stride for stride with Gary Clark. Stuck a hand up there. Theismann had that right on the money.
Well, I think it was a little bit of an underthrow. You'll see here that the receiver's got to slow up a little bit. If Joe had that ball really out in front, it would have been 6.
But a fine defensive play by Wayne Smith. Another former Detroit Lion performing here tonight. They got him back in '82. And he's been a starter ever since he arrived. There he is, Wayne Smith, out of Purdue. Third down, long yardage. Gary Clark again, split up at the top of your screen. Art Monk to the right. Gary Clark, probably deep breathing out there. Didn't think they'd work to him again, but they do. They try to get it in there. And it was batted away by Lee Nelson, as once again Theismann tried to get it to Clark. That'll bring up 4th down.
I'm really confused about this Cardinal defense. It's apparent they're very poor against the rush, but they also don't get much of a pass rush out of the defense, and I know that's one of the things they've been concerned about. So you can't rush the quarterback, and you can't stop the run. How can you be 3-1?
You better score a lot of points. That's how.
All right. They only have 8 sacks in 4 games. 4 interceptions. And they are last in their conference against the rush. Steve Cox, the punt for the Redskins. J.T. Smith is back. High, towering kick. And on the natural surface, sometimes you can hope it'll die, but it does not enter the end zone with 56 seconds remaining in the half. And the Cardinals, with an explosive offense that has fizzled thus far this evening, has 3 timeouts. A 54-yard punt, and once again, it got into the end zone. So Neil Lomax is the second all-time leading passer. History of the NFL, he is qualified with 1,500 attempts, and he trails only Joe Montana. Well, actually, he needs one more attempt. Cardinals' best field position in the first half has been the 21-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Sutton Mitchell. He gets the first down. The Redskins are, of course, concerned with the pass, but now it'll give Lomax a little bit more freedom to put that ball up in the air. Let's see if he does. He has 3 timeouts.
I don't know why he didn't just use one. He's wasted 10 seconds, 12 seconds already.
Underneath the J.T. Smith, and he's to the 45-yard line. I think we'll see the timeout now, and we do, stopping the clock at 27 seconds. And Neil Lomax now has qualified with the 1,500, the minimum of 1,500 attempts to be rated, and there he is, 83.8, just ahead of Roger Staubach. And we mentioned earlier, a week from tonight, we're going to be watching Dan Marino, and we have projected his career ahead to 1,500 attempts, and he's thrown for over 1,000 already. His young career, he would be the leader. He would have a rating of 100.5. And Neil Lomax, we are going to take a close-up look at halftime. He's sort of been lost in the shuffle of the Joe Montanas and the Dan Marinos over the past couple of years, but a year ago he threw for over 4,600 yards. No passer in the history of this game, with the exception of Dan Faust and Dan Marino, has ever thrown for that many yards. And he kind of labors in obscurity out there. And it could be that until just last year, the Cardinals had not been much of a playoff threat. They had not been in the playoffs since 1975, and last year they came so close, losing the opportunity right here in late December when they lost 29-27 to the Redskins. And the Giants going on as a wild card representative. The Redskins, of course, at 11-5, represented the Eastern Division, losing to the Chicago Bears. 27 seconds remain. Cardinals have 2 timeouts. They have a second down and 2, the ball at their 45-yard line. Lomax to pick off. Ralph Cherry, the rookie from Hawaii. Cherry out of bounds, and the clock stops with 13 seconds. And the Redskins have the ball in Cardinal territory near the 47-yard line. They have 1 timeout. Lomax was looking deep. He wanted to go deep, and out of the corner of his eye, he got a look at a receiver, and he fired one off quickly, and it was picked off.
Yeah, well, you know, Washington was laying back in that zone defense, and Neil just overthrew his receiver that time. It was a bad pass. But what I really did like was to see Cherry run that ball out of bounds. It was a heads-up play on his behalf, stopping the clock.
They mark it at the 44-yard line. And there is Ralph Cherry. He was part of the George Rogers deal. They got him in exchange for the first-round draft pick that they sent to New Orleans. They got a 5th round back, and they took Cherry with that 5th round. Theismann in deep trouble. He goes down.
That is the last thing you want to do in this situation, is take the loss, throw the ball away.
Nosey Lois Grooms. The time had expired. That's the end of the first half. Joe Theismann now buried under Lois Grooms. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment. From RFK Stadium, the nation's capital, stay with us.
Know me, but I once threw 7 touchdown passes in 1 quarter in a college football game. And last year, I threw for over 4,600 yards in the National Football League. And this year, if things go well, you might get to know me as one of the quarterbacks in this year's Super Bowl. Right in his hands.
And if there's an NFL quarterback who certainly shouldn't leave home without it, his name is Neil Lomax of the St. Louis Cardinals. With national attention focused on Dan Marino and Joe Montana, his passing exploits have gone relatively unnoticed. No big deal to him.
I don't mind it. You know, I've been asked a lot of times, you know, who do you play for? And I said, I play for the Cardinals. And they say, oh, yeah, didn't you guys win the World Series a couple years ago?
At Portland State, obscurity was nothing new to Lomax. Little was known of him until his senior year, and despite establishing 90 NCAA passing records, there were those who had their doubts, including a Green Bay Packer doctor who thought turned-in ankles and flat feet were a liability.
the doctor just told the coaching staff that they don't think Lomax could hang around for 3 or 4 years on that AstroTurf. It's going to be bad on his feet, and he can't run after that much time on it. And it was all a surprise to me. I didn't really care. You know, Green Bay kind of gets cold in the wintertime, so I really didn't mind.
Undaunted and wearing the number of boyhood idol Bart Starr, Neil became a Cardinal and jumped in flat feet first.
I remember my first regular season game very vividly because I had a chance to play opening day at Busch Stadium, sellout crowd, and Jim Hart goes down in the second series of the game. And they look around for the other quarterback, and I'm looking around too, and it was me. So they stuck me in, and you know, Jim got all the work that week. He was preparing for the Dolphins. I just had a clipboard and a baseball hat. That's all I had on. And talk about being nervous. I just felt like Daniel being thrust in the lion's den.
The Cardinals lost that game, but now Neil is established and during the season lives in this condominium in the St. Louis suburbs. It's a far cry from the mountains near Portland, where off-season weekends are spent fishing with friends and family. Neil's family grew by one last February when he married Lori Exley. Both were concerned that life in St. Louis would mean an end to the privacy they've always known.
It's not that bad. I thought it would be terrible. I thought people would be coming up to us at dinner, that they wouldn't leave us alone, but it really hasn't been bad. He's just a normal guy, and I think when people meet him for the first time, they understand that he's not some big football hero. He's a guy.
That's a good boy. Come on. Come on. Come on. She sees me like no one else sees me. She sees me in the bad times and the good times. And the people in St. Louis see me as a quarterback, as a football player, and that's so temporary. I think that's the reason why we maintain our home and our family back in Portland, because it's all going to fade away and go away. And what is there to hang on to? If you don't have your family or your wife or somebody to hang on to, you're living an unpeaceful, unhappy life, I think.
On the field, the Redskins are huddled over the sidelines, and we'll have an opportunity to take a look at the first touchdown for the Redskins. A bootleg by Theismann, but look at the fake. Put it right in there, took it out, and there was not a Cardinal on that defensive unit that saw Theismann until he had turned the corner in the line of scrimmage and was into the end zone. And a little later on, a terrific shot is Theismann to Gary Clark. Gary Clark, the rookie former USF Eller with Jacksonville. He's only 5'9" and 173, but he was wide open as he just raced by Cedric Mack. And deep now, as we await the kickoff, is Ken Jenkins. Neil O'Donoghue will kick for the Cardinals, and they need to get something happening. The Redskins, much maligned through the first 4 weeks of the season, have returned to form tonight. They have played strong, tough defense. They moved the ball well on the ground. And with an occasional pass, and they are getting a great effort from the special teams, which have been a disaster in the early going of this season. That was O'Donoghue who had to make the stop once again. He's already had to make a stop on a previous kickoff. That was a return of 31 yards by Jenkins. And George Rogers will open at running back for the Redskins here in the second half. Rogers had a very fine first half. Former New Orleans Saint and Heisman Award winner from South Carolina. 60 yards on 13 carries. Theismann, very conservative night, 5 of 8, 44 yards, but the 1 touchdown. As the Redskins are going against the weakest defense in the conference on the ground. George Rogers will get 6 yards out of that. They have been popping for 4. They've been getting 5. They've been getting 7. They've been getting 3. And they have been working on the clock. And they are really exploiting a defense that is obviously very weak against the run.
The way that offensive line is blocking for Washington, if I would have worked out this week, Joe, I think I could have gone down there and ran.
I'd love to report that. Nicole would have been all over you. 2nd and 5. Rogers spins up to the 45-yard line, held short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. Rogers has really been working tonight. 15 carries already, opening moments now of the 3rd quarter. And we will see Riggins come in as he does on the short yardage situation. No, this time he's not. And I guess the Redskins are considering this to be the passing down as they bring in Keith Griffin. He works out of the backfield, number 35. Gary Clark, the extra wide receiver, along with Malcolm Barnwell into the Redskins. Seisman gets the ball to Gary Clark, and Clark has the first down. He's right at midfield. Gary Clark out of James Madison, where he had a tremendous career, small college in Virginia, 155 receptions, second in the nation as a junior with punt returns, and with Jacksonville in his last year he had 56 receptions. So he may be little in stature, but he plays awfully big. And of course has the one touchdown from Theismann tonight, 10-yard pass, and he has just given the Redskins the first down at midfield. Theismann, what's more, looking for Monk. Monk in a foot race with Cedric Mack, and they left Cedric Mack 1-for-1 on Monk. And Theismann led that to the middle of the field. That could have been a quick six.
Oh, there wasn't a soul in the middle of the field on the defensive team, and it was one-on-one out there with Mack. It was just an overthrow, but as Frank, you pointed out, had he led him to the center of the field, it would have been six.
Al Baker might have had something to do with it. He was right in his face.
And that could change the pass a little bit.
They do get your attention, the big cats. Second down and 10. Crowd very appreciative of their Redskins tonight. They function very smoothly. Mostly with plays like this on the ground. But George Rogers carrying tacklers, finally going down. E.J. Jr., the principal tackler. But it's a big pickup of another 7 or 8 yards. And St. Louis having such a difficult time. They are missing, of course, several players. Thomas Howard, a linebacker, is out of there. He's been replaced by Freddie Joe Nunn, a rookie first-round draft pick linebacker. They've had to move E.J. Jr. out to left linebacker. They brought in Nico Doga, a second-year man from Hawaii. Cedric Mack, a cornerback, is in there because another cornerback is injured. They have been unable to stop the Redskins on the ground. And when you can move it on the ground, you can move it in the air. Another Redskin first down. And this is Vinny's Redskins under the tenure of Joe Gibbs. Make him respect that run and then peck, 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 and occasionally go up on top.
Well, actually, he had 2 men covering him that time, Art did, but he just broke right in the middle of the 2. Denny Perrin was covering to the inside, and Leonard Smith had him to the outside, and he just split the seam.
Another Redskin first down.
Art Monk's a fine receiver, very smart.
Rogers works his way inside the 35-yard line, this time held to about a 2-yard pickup. Redskins took the opening kickoff here in the second half, and they ripped off almost 4 minutes. The lead 17-3, and this, I know, had to be the thinking of Joe Gibbs, O.J. Keep the ball away from that offense of the Cardinals.
And don't turn from anywhere. And don't turn it over. They're controlling the ball on the ground. That it lessens the chance of interceptions or sacks and putting themselves in bad situations.
Second down and 8. Timing pass from Monk. And Cedric Mack. There was a little pushing and a little shoving, but Cedric Mack was able to deflect the ball. It'll be third down and 8.
Well, as we pointed out earlier, St. Louis is going to have to bring their safeties up to stop this running game. They did exactly that, and it left Cedric Mack on Art Monk one-on-one, but Cedric did a terrific job of covering.
Excuse me, Joe. Cedric Mack is going to be glad when this one's over. They are picking on him.
And that was a good pass, by the way. It was on the money. That was just real good coverage by Cedric Mack.
Third down and 8. I mentioned before, Cedric Mack, third-year man out of Baylor, is in there because Lionel Washington has a broken fibula, unable to go. Keith Griffin into the lineup on third and 8, the passing down. Theismann. And Didier. Yes, a great catch. A diving catch by Didier. We couldn't see it because of the cameramen. Fine catch. He used to catch so many passes from Neil Lomax at Portland State when they were in college together. Watch his feet. Both of them have to come down inbounds. Timed it out beautifully. A diving catch right in front of, guess who? Cedric Mack. It'll be nightmares for Cedric Mack tonight. They have not given up on him throughout the entire game. They keep coming right back to him. And they keep coming back to Rogers, and he keeps producing to the 17-yard line. Vinny Parrott makes the stop.
I can't tell you how demoralizing it is to a defense when you can run the ball on them like this, when you can go right at them man to man and blow them off the line of scrimmage. When a team is beating you just throwing the football, you always have that chance that maybe we can get an interception, maybe we can get a sack. But when they're running the ball at you like this, it's hopeless. What can we do to stop them?
They haven't turned it over for one thing, and they have 15 turnovers in the previous 4 games. That's Rogers. He looks like he is close to another first down. He had to get inside the 15 as the Redskins have kept this drive going for over 5 minutes. And they do have another first down.
Well, you know, that running game, it's so important. Many games are won and lost right there in the pitch, the offensive line and the defensive line. I don't care what kind of defensive philosophy you have or what kind of front you line up in. It's the people that are playing the defense that's important, and obviously these guys can't play run defense.
Cardinals have given up 165 yards average per game this season. It's going to be much more tonight. On first down, Rogers. He has been working tonight. This time held for about a 2-yard pickup. He's carried the ball already 20 times for 89 yards. And I think might want a breather. They'll play him into shape, O.J.
Yeah, they will. He'll toughen up, and it's going to pay off for this team as the season goes on. If he'll only get tougher as he carries the ball and as the season goes on.
Have run the football 30 times. They've passed the ball 13 times. They need 17-3. And this drive has used up almost 6.5 minutes. Theismann going for Art Monk. Coverage back there by Leonard Smith. He had a good position inside on Monk. Theismann had to hang it high, hoping that Monk could do a circus catch. Not possible. It'll be 3rd down and long. Rodgers ended tonight. Had a previous high for numbers of carries of only 15. So they worked him, and we're not even midway yet in the 3rd quarter. Keith Griffin comes in. They like to use Griffin, as I mentioned before. Like they used to use Joe Washington so effectively. 3rd and 8. Guys, all the time in the world.
Rip.
Still cannot find the receiver. It'll be 4th down, and nearly a 7-minute drive is going to end up with the Redskins trotting the field goal unit out.
Well, that didn't hurt them. Kept St. Louis off the field, and it turned into about a 25-minute half for the St. Louis offense.
Joe Theismann has to feel really good about the way his offensive line is blocking for this running game. It really is a pleasure for a quarterback when you have a good running game going.
Think about how George Rogers feels about it.
Mark Mosley, 29-yard attempt. He's already hit from 33 yards out. 5 of 6 for the season. He's 6 of 7 for the season. And the Redskins move it out to 20. But I think head coach Joe Gibbs, remembering last December and the Cardinals' great comeback in the 2nd half, would have liked very much to get 7 on that drive. Tom Mitchell is back for the Cardinals for the kickoff of Steve Cox. Tom Mitchell has been swarmed all over tonight on the special teams, the kickoff return team of the Redskins. And meanwhile, over the sidelines, the defensive unit is being chatted with, and I don't think it's a very happy little group that's gathered over there. Steve Cox to kick off. 8:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Cox again, he does not get it end over end, but he does get the touchback, and the Cardinals will begin from the 20-yard line. And while the defense has not been productive whatsoever against the Washington Redskins, the offense has not been all that dramatic either. Dave Butts, by the way, has come back into the lineup, number 65. If you were with us earlier, he went out with an injured left shoulder, it did appear. And Vernon Dean, who we were told had what they thought was a minor concussion, cornerback for the Redskins, is also back in the lineup. There he is, number 32. Dave Butts, of course, a familiar Pro Bowl figure wearing number 65. First down, Cardinals. They need the big play. They live by the big play. And that means Lomax and Roy Green. Anderson He takes little things and turns it into big things. Dave Butts sliding all the way out there defensively for the Redskins. So obviously Butts is all right. Anderson takes it in the flat, gets 7 yards out of it. Well, give him 6 as they mark it now. About the 26-yard line. Dave Butts played out his option with the Cardinals. Tremendous compensation given for him. George Allen gave 2 number 1s and a second round as compensation to the Cardinals after he played out his option in 1974. And he's been well worth it. 2nd down and 4. Lomax. And he hits Vernon Dean trying to get the ball to Pat Tilley. The pressure was on the Redskins in a blitz.
Yeah, but this is what St. Louis needs to do. Throw the ball. That's just abandon the running game at this point. Start passing the ball on every down. And whenever Washington starts playing pass, then come back with the running game. They need to throw the ball.
Just midway past, just shortly by the midway point here in the 3rd quarter. And we have a 3rd and 4 for the Cardinals. Redskins, defensive unit, and their special teams have come to life tonight here in the nation's capital. From the shotgun. Lomax, and it's J.T. Smith. Smith will have the first down. He's well out over the 40-yard line to the 46 before he's tripped up by Curtis Gordon. Mentioned Smith in the first half, the former Kansas City wide receiver, known principally there for his kick return ability. Just drove the defender deep back, slid inside. Lomax had the protection he needed. And J.T. Smith gets the first down for the Cardinals. Now Smith will split wide to the right. Tilley and Roy Green both deployed to the left. Lomax with a lot of time throws it underneath to Doug Marsh. And the big tight end just booms his way to the 45-yard line, about a yard short of another Cardinal first down. Now the Cardinals have a drive of their own underway. Harry Wilburn, a rookie from Mississippi, took on the big tight end. Very clean played game. It's a hard-hitting game. You've been with us. Very few flags tonight. But the Redskins have dominated. They've been able to move the ball on the ground, keep the ball away from the Cardinals' offense. And the defense for the Redskins have also responded, as have the special teams. All the problem areas that they talked about have come to life tonight. Farrell. He will not get the first down. It'll be 3rd down, short yardage. Neil Olkowitz right in there with the middle of that line. Darryl Grant and Dave Butts.
Now, if there was ever a down that you can either throw the bomb or throw a medium pass for the first down, I would think that was a down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why are they running the ball? They should do what they do best, and that's pass the football. That's the only thing that's going to get them back into this game.
Seconds ticking away. We're inside 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Redskins continuing to lead 20-3. Less than a yard. 3rd down. O.J. Anderson. Look out. He breaks it loose. He tore loose from several Redskins at the line of scrimmage, and we've told you how powerful he is. Redskins thought somebody else was doing it, and Anderson just kept pumping. 33-yard pickup. He's inside the 10-yard line of the Redskins, and this time they just went to sleep.
A classic case of a running back who has the reputation of being elusive, so you don't think he has the power to run this way. But once again, he's 225 pounds. And he's just a little too big for Darryl Green, who had his hand on him, and Darryl's only about 180 pounds if he's soaking wet.
Randy Clark really made a nice block on Neil Olkowitz that time.
Big as he is, O.J. Joe, that's spectacular. They didn't have to take him on straight off. And it gives the Cardinals a first down goal to go. Lomax wants it quickly. Oh, kickoff! Mel Kaufman. Lomax put it right into Mel Kaufman's numbers. Roy Green stopped on the pattern. Roy should have kept going. If they don't love their Redskins, listen to them. Neil Lomax. It's the turnover. to Mel Kaufman. And the Cardinals are turned away once again. We'll be back.
You've heard us talk about quarterbacks and receivers being on the same page. Well, what's Green? He stopped. Lomax thought he was going to continue on, and that's what caused the interception.
1st and 10, the Redskins. Ball at the 13-yard line. Theismann. Again, they keep it on the ground. And again, yardage by George Rogers. Out to the 20-yard line. Gain of 6.
But St. Louis must bring their safeties up. They've got to stop this running attack somehow, and that seems to be the only way they're going to be able to do it. What that will do is expose their defensive backs with one-on-one coverage, so Washington would try to throw, but they've got to stop this running game.
Redskins, who have given up 15 turnovers in their first 4 games, have 3 of their own tonight. Rogers over the left side, short of the first down. It'll be a gain of about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 1 as, again, the Redskins offensive unit keeps it on the ground. I know that's what they wanted to do, as I've said several times tonight. All the problem areas that Gibbs and Bobby Betther, their fine personnel man, their owner Jack Kent Cook, has been worried about have really come together tonight against the Cardinals, and particularly their special teams. And they're running the football like they like to do. That's Joe Gibbs' offense. Run it before you throw it. And the defense has played superb. Reagan. He probably won't get there, but it's amazing his advanced years that hold it. He pops it up as Mack runs it down, and they're indicating the Cardinals have the ball. And a Redskin is down injured at the 35-yard line.
I thought John was down. The ground can't cause the fumble.
No, the ball was coming out on his way down, but that's the same play we saw in the Super Bowl a few years ago. Everybody's stacked in there. If you ever pop it, it's you, and it's a foot race. As you can see, he goes in there trying to get 1 yard here. But he does an excellent job of always keeping his feet moving, and in that case, the hole was just there. Joe, you with your knees could run through that hole, and this is just those 36 years.
Cedric Mack that ran him down, pulled the ball out. The Cardinals get it back. They're up about at the 26-yard line. Leonard Smith made the recovery, and we'll look at it from the reverse angle. And watch Cedric Mack get that left arm in there. You take the ball loose right there, just strip it. Yes, sir. Great play by Mack. And then it was Leonard Smith on the recovery.
But Big John Riggle was once a 9.6 sprinter, you know, so I guess he assumed he wouldn't get caught.
Didier was the injured Redskin. Now he is walking out without assistance, so he appears to be all right. But the Cardinals get another breath of life, as the Redskins would have had another first down deep in Cardinal territory, and they lead 20-3. Didier appears to be all right. He's having a fine year on the receiving end of passes that Theismann has been able to complete. He has not worked well to the outside receivers, but Didier has been the principal receiver.
Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of this Cardinal team, he can't be happy. He's had some great teams in Detroit, and that goal rush he had in the 49ers, and the Cardinals are just not getting it done defensively here.
1st and 10, the Cardinals, 26-yard line. Stop Mitchell. And Mitchell works hard. He's out to the 31-yard line.
That was really a fine play by Neil Lomax. He wanted badly to get downfield, but they had good coverage, and just at the last instant he got the ball to Stump. And that was some really good running by Stump as well.
They mark it now back inside the 30-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 7.
I don't think that interception that Lomax has just had is going to slow him down one bit.
Crowd standing defense. Lomax going for Roy Green is picked off by Darrell Green. He's been shadowing Roy Green all night. He gets the interception, and it has been a long night for Roy Green, the man the Redskins knew they had to stop, and that for the Redskins their 4th turnover of the game. Getting Earl Grant an assist, he hurried Neil Lomax.
You have to give a lot of credit to that Washington Redskins defensive line. They got pressure back there, and it looked like he was throwing the ball off balance. You'll see him right here. He gets hit just a little bit. He didn't have enough on the ball because of the defensive line. Darrell Grant made a heck of a play, number 77.
And the Redskins have good field position again. They're at their own 49-yard line. 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery for the Redskins on the night. That's the way it's been working against them this season. Heisman wants a bunch. There was a little bit of bumping and shoving deep downfield. Heisman was trying to get it deep to Calvin Muhammad. He was bumping with Wayne Smith. It's incomplete.
Well, you know, earlier, I think it was the first half, we were talking about throwing the ball toward the center of the field in that situation, and it had 6. I think Joe this time thought his receiver was going to the inside. He put it to the inside, and the receiver kept to the outside.
There's Darrell Green, a #1 draft pick 3 years ago out of Texas A&M. He was really burned last year by Roy Green in both games, but particularly the last game where Green got 2 touchdown passes and almost pulled that out for the Cardinals in December, and it would have been a playoff win for the Cardinals. That's George Rogers. He never really had his feet under him, and he's held to a yard pickup right at midfield. It'll be 3rd down, long yardage.
Well, when you're running the ball so well, I don't know why you throw it on 1st down when the defense cannot stop you from running the football. And with a deep offense that is as explosive as this Cardinal offense is, I would have continued to keep that ball on the ground and, hey, run out for another 6 or 7 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, but on 1st down that time, they had the safeties up tighter, and they had one-on-one coverage on the outside, and I'm sure that's what the Redskins were thinking of, trying to hit the big play.
Rogers has 100. That's his first 100-yard game since his opener a year ago with New Orleans. And the Redskins, they got a break. They had the ball in good field position, and now they're going to have to punt away to the Cardinals.
And Wayne Smith is doing a terrific job covering these receivers.
Steve Cox comes on, and J.T. Smith, who's been busy tonight, not only as a receiver, but as a return man, settles in at the 10-yard line. And the former Cleveland Brown was activated this past week with the injury to Jeff Hayes, is on to punt with 1:11 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the Redskins leading 20-3. This time Cox hits a ditty. Fair catch called for by J.T. Smith, and you'd have to question whether or not he should have left that bound. It perhaps would have gone into the end zone. He takes it at the 6-yard line of the Cardinals. Once again, begin their possession deep in their own territory. We'll be right back. John Riggins on the sideline. That one is 14th year, old teammate of my new teammate, Joe Namath, here in the booth. He's a different one. Used to wear that mohawk haircut. Always just a little off stride. Had himself a very interesting offseason as the Cardinals in 1st and 10 from their own 7. Get it out to the shadow of their goalpost as they go to the tight end, Doug Marsh, and he'll have a 1st down out over the 20-yard line. Neil Olkowitz made the stop. Cardinals scheduled to, originally had been scheduled to play Philadelphia Sunday at home. That game has been moved because of the National League Baseball playoffs, the possibility that St. Louis Busch Stadium might be occupied, so they will be at Philadelphia this coming Sunday, and the game that was scheduled to be on the road on the 17th will be played in St. Louis, alerting you St. Louis Cardinal fans. 1st down, Cardinals. 25 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Lomax, pressure, but he gets it off to Marsh, and Marsh will have another 1st down. And you work that tight end, you work the tight end, particularly when they are releasing and covering him with a linebacker as they had been, Doug Marsh with Mel Coughlin.
Yeah, he's just finding the hole in the defense. Olkowitz and Coughlin is getting right in the middle of the two because Washington's playing zone defense.
There it is, the end of the 3rd quarter. The Redskins dominating on the ground. They lead 20-3, and we'll be back at RFK Stadium after this from our stations. This was what was happening to the Redskins in their first 4 games. The Cardinals' drives all starting, well, the deepest they've been has been their own 26-yard line. The special teams of the Redskins left the opponents run back kickoffs averaging 37 yards a kickoff return up until tonight. They have turned it around here in Washington, at least for tonight. Washington again, 1-3 in the National Football Conference Eastern Division. The Cards are 3-1. Of course, the Cowboys on top with a 4-1 record. On 1st down, Lomax tries to get it in to J.T. Smith, and there will be a pass interference call, I do believe, against Barry Wilburn. stepping in front and preventing JT's route to the ball. You see Wilburn, the rookie from Mississippi, gets that right hand in there pretty good. There it is. He just wouldn't let him in there.
Number 45 defense, first down.
That's the first penalty against Washington tonight. That's first down is up near midfield.
It seems to be the only pattern the Cardinals have been successful with here tonight. The guys going 15 yards downfield and coming across the field. They haven't really been successful throwing the ball up at all, or for that matter, out that much.
Roy Green has caught 2 passes for 37 yards tonight, and he fumbled one of them. Lomax almost has the jersey ripped off, but the man was wide open, Doug Marsh, and he couldn't get it there. That might have inhibited his arm just a little bit. He was in the grasp of Charles Mann momentarily. He almost took his jersey off. It'll be second down and 10.
The reason he was open is Curtis Jordan, the free safety, was helping out on the other side of the field, and that left the middle wide open, and Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker, had Marsh one-on-one. That's a pretty tough call for a linebacker to cover a tight end that deep one-on-one.
Saw the numbers on Lomax on the night. Keep in mind that he threw for 468 yards last December. Interesting turnaround tonight. Second down and 10. There was movement, yeah, and that will probably work against the Redskins. The right tackle, Judy Robbins, trying to set up for Charles Mann. Had moved. I don't know what
Encroachment, 71 defense.
Oh, Charles Mann tried to steal that. There was movement on the part of Judy Robbins. But Mann is going to get the penalty. Once again, a reminder, college football coming your way this Saturday. Pair of unbeaten powers. Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions of Penn State going against young Ray Perkins. Alabama Crimson Tide. Penn State ranked 6th in the nation. Alabama 8th in the nation. You'll see it live here on ABC, 3 o'clock Eastern Time from State College, Pennsylvania. CFA college football. It's second down and 5. J.T. Smith flips to the right this time. Nowhere for Otis Anderson to go, and he'll lose yardage, and it's a swarming Washington defense that seems to be picking up momentum. Collided with his own man on this play.
Take a look at it. They're trying to do a little cross block in there. The hold appeared as if it was there, but they were stunning up front. Forced Otis to do a little hesitation in the backfield, and he ran into one of his own men.
And Neil Olkowitz, too. Olkowitz is right there in the middle.
From second and 5, the Cardinals now look over a third down and 7. Redskins showing blitz, but they get out of it. Lomax trying to get it to Roy Green, who's bitterly complaining that he was held. And a flag comes down late. Roy Green, I do believe, was held. Flag came late after Roy Green was jumping up and down. Mel Kaufman was bumping and pushing. Let's take a look. Roy Green, number 81. Actually, it's Darrell Green has been shadowing him all night. Had him by the jersey, I believe. The flag comes in, and it's first down Cardinals near the 42-yard line of the Redskins. 14 minutes remaining in the game, a lot of time, even though the Cardinals are being totally dominated thus far. They have the dangerous weapon, and O.J. Anderson, and Roy Green. Lomax, down he goes. Another sack for the Redskins. A loss to the 48-yard line, the 4th sack on Lomax tonight. Charles Mann getting his 3rd. Big night for Mann. Became a starter last year, got in the lineup when Todd Liebenstein had an injury. And they have not been able to get him out of there. 3rd-year man out of the University of Nevada, Reno, and he's having a spectacular night working against big Judy Robbins, the 302-pounder over the right tackle side. Mann is very quick, and Robbins has been in trouble all night. The Rocks of Brennan. First down and 10, the Redskins. At their own 17-yard line. Rodgers he has worked and worked tonight. Cardinals saying they got the ball. Yes, they do. Couldn't see it from our side of the field. Rogers pops it up, and the Cardinals will have it inside the Redskins' 20-yard line. Look at it from the reverse angle. Here's the handoff. Rogers will be coming right at you.
Big George has not noticed. No, the hand from
Al Baker. Al Bubba Baker just ripped it out, and the Cardinals get their first turnover of the night. Second turnover of the night. But it's inside the 20-yard line of the Redskins.
There's been a lot of talk around here about George Rogers fumbling. He fumbled twice earlier this season in key situations, but he doesn't have the reputation as being a fumbler.
Capacity crowd in the stadium. They're all on their feet. Lomax, Pat Tilley, and Tilley comes up with it in front of Vernon Dean. Very close to another first down. Tilley limping slightly. Tilley just short of the first down by about a yard. And there is big Bubba Baker. Great numbers when he was at Detroit. Pro Bowl player there. Now in his third year here with St. Louis, but he came up as a rookie and had 23.5 sacks in his rookie year. Second down, less than a yard for the first down. Could be a waste down for Lomax. He may try to get it in the end zone. They'll give it to O.J. Anderson. That's how you get it in the end zone. Doug Marsh with a key block. And Anderson turned that corner and turned it on. And the complexion of this game changes with 11:49 remaining.
And you said it, Frank. Doug Marsh got on his man. He stayed on him. He didn't let the pursuit get around him. Watch number 80 out there. And all Otis had to do is just swing the run out, keep it outside. But number 80, he stayed on his man, and he kept the pursuit from getting outside.
Millard should never allow that to happen. But it was a good block. Neil O'Donohue for the conversion. Scott Bruner places it down, and the Cardinals have drawn to within 10. 11:49 remaining. There's O.J. Anderson. He's worked hard tonight. We'll be right back. 10:49 remaining in the game between the Cardinals and the Washington Redskins. The Cardinals are 3-1 in the NFC Eastern Division. The Redskins are 1-3. The Redskins have dominated tonight with special teams, with offense, with defense. But now they have turned it over twice, and the Cardinals trail by 10. 20-10, and they are set to kick off. A quick look at Coach Jim Hanifin. There's Ken Jenkins deep for the Washington Redskins, and I'm sure on the sidelines they're wondering, are we going to get back into that situation where the turnovers are going to plague us once again, as they have through the first 4 games of the season. Jenkins from the 12-yard line. And he's whacked at the 25. He gets out to the 27-yard line. And out comes a very busy Washington offensive unit. And if they're not in great shape, they must certainly be wearing down. It is much more difficult to run block than it is to pass block. You seldom ever get a breather. And you're pulling. And you're going to find out about the Redskins' conditioning here in the final 11.5 minutes. They have dominated. The ball being moved on the ground almost at will. Rogers. The ball is loose again. Rogers turns it loose once again, and you know, once you get a reputation of fouling up the ball, everyone's going to be pulling, trying to get it out of there.
I think the problem is he hasn't worked this hard in 2 years, and he just may be tired because in the past he's carried the ball an awful lot down in New Orleans and when he was in college, and he never had the reputation of being a fumbler, and somehow he's developed one here in Washington.
Don Warren covered it for the Redskins, and he does look very tired. George Rogers has worked hard. Riggins is in. Second down and 7. Theismann. Hartman in front of Cedric Mack. They have picked on Mack all night long. He's made some good plays, but they have really worked on him. First down, Redskins. Riggins, we know, seldom fumbles the football. Has a remarkable history of holding on to the football. But he fumbled once today.
You know, John was running for a touchdown that time, and I think he's just waving his arms a little more, being out in the open more than he normally does.
Lapping them around, trying to get extra yardage. Near the 38-yard line of the Redskins, 1st and 10. Down goes Ricketts. He'll lose a yard. Duda there defensively, and Curtis Greer.
What's interesting, you were wondering about the conditioning of this Washington offensive line. Normally, a good running team will wear down the defense, and as successful as Washington has been running this ball tonight, you would think that the Cardinals would have got a little tired.
Well, they weren't tackling anybody doing all those drives.
2nd down and 11. Keith Griffin is in, number 35. Draw play to Griffin. And Griffin is hit at the 43-yard line, dropped well short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and 4, keeping the Redskins in the passing down. It was Freddie Joe Nunn, the rookie 1st-round pick from Mississippi, and Benny Parra defensively there for the Cardinals. 3rd down, long 4. Nunn, who is filled in for Thomas Howard at their right cornerback spot, or right linebacker spot, has ended tonight as one of the leading tacklers for the Cardinals. They have high hopes for his future. This is Griffin. And the Cardinals defense is toughening up. Or is it that the Redskins, who have had their offensive unit on the field most of the night, perhaps is beginning to wind down a little bit?
The Cardinals really read that last play. There were more defensive linemen out there on the outside to stop the play than there were offensive players. I still think there's plenty of time for the Cardinals with their attack to get back and score a couple of times.
There's no question. They did it last December. They came from way back at halftime.
I'm really surprised that they haven't moved the ball better. Washington's really been doing a good job.
Knox with that long stride. This is J.T. Smith. And Smith, relatively good field position for the Cardinals. They'll be at their 30-yard line, and I mean relatively good field position because they have been starting inside their 20 all night long. Hustling down there, Greg Williams for the Redskins. We'll be back. 8:09 remaining in the game. The Cardinals against the Redskins. It is 20-10. The Redskins over the Cards. At halftime, it was 17-3 a year ago, or rather last December. The Redskins led the Cardinals 23-7. They watched as the Cardinals roared back and with the arm of Neil Lomax to almost win that game, to lose by 2. That'll be a holding call, I believe, against the Cardinals as O.J. Anderson up close to a 1st down, but that flag went down in the area where you generally get the hold, and that's what's going to happen to the Cardinals. Relatively penalty-free game tonight, and that hurts the Cardinals.
Otis tried to hurt Darrell Green with his arm, with his stomach, with his knee.
Holding, 63 offense, 1st down.
Well, Tootie Robbins has been having a rough night all night with Charles Mann. Mann has 3 sacks on the night. The one can hardly blame the big man from East Carolina for maybe getting an arm around the very quick Charles Mann, trying to slow him down and preserve his quarterback.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Tilly. That last play, Tilly ran right past Vernon Dean.
1st and 20. Underneath to Doug Marsh. Ball is loose, but they say no. Tony Peters picks it up. Tony Peters hit Doug Marsh, and it's Vernon Dean who takes a stroll into the end zone. That pass incomplete. J.T. Smith back into the lineup. Son Mitchell comes in with Otis Anderson. And Neil Lomax has a problem. 2nd down and 20. Again, the Redskins like to show blitz. They've shown it several times tonight, but they've always dropped out of it, preferring to go with the coverage. This time they bring it. And Lomax in trouble. And it's Mann once again and picked off. Deep downfield was Rich Malott. The 4th interception. Lomax was hit once again by Charles Mann, and he is in obvious pain, holding that left shoulder. He was off balance and he went down in the arms of Charles Mann, who goes 6'6" and 260. The Redskins have the football back.
What he was trying to do is get the ball to Stump Mitchell that got behind the lot, but he didn't get enough air under the ball. He should have threw it up and over.
Well, he looks like he's been in an auto wreck. Tad has been coming out all night.
He was throwing that ball. He should have got it up in the air a little bit. He really did get tagged.
He's lucky he did not get a separated shoulder. You can get it so easily when you go down with that extra weight of the tackler right on your body, land on your elbow, and it's goodbye season.
Well, right now it may be goodbye Cardinals if Washington doesn't turn the ball over. There's 7:20 left on the clock, and you know that the Redskins are going to try and run that timeout.
Redskins, 5 turnovers on the night. Lomax has tied his career mark for interceptions in a given game. Riggins. He booms ahead, getting about 6 out of that. 4 interceptions for Lomax tonight. And credit a Washington defense. They have scrambled, they have hustled, and the big man has been Charles Mann. They continue to look at Lomax. He's been in a war out there tonight. Second down and 4 for the Redskins. Redskins will be in Cleveland next Sunday. We're going to see them again November the 18th against the Giants, and what could be another dilly. Riggins, second effort, inside the 30. He'll be short of the first down, but not by much. And a week from tonight, it will be in New York for the New York Jets going against the Miami Dolphins. Both 4-1. The Jets, as I mentioned earlier, off to a very slow start against the Raiders, getting wiped out, but they have really come back. And of course, we'll be watching Dan Marino as the Cardinals warm up a former New York Giant, Scott Brunner, who took the Giants to the playoffs back in 1981. He's been well traveled since then. Riggins, first down Redskins. And from the attitude and the tone of this crowd, you would think they would be playing for the divisional championship tonight. They've been on their feet almost with every play, but how they have suffered. They love their football so much here in Washington, and it has been a tough few weeks. Washington lost the opener to Dallas, blown away 44-14. And when you lose to Dallas and you're a Washington Redskin or a Washington Redskin fan, well, that's time to put the black morning cloth on. They beat Houston, grinding it out on the ground 16-13. They lost to the Eagles 19-6 right here. They lost to Chicago 45-10 last week. They are back now. Riggins hit at the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet. Still nailed at the 25-yard line by Leonard Smith. It'll be second down and 10. A reminder, tonight on Nightline, the latest information on an unfolding drama. An Italian cruise ship seized by Palestinian guerrillas in the eastern Mediterranean. That'll be tonight on Nightline, and it'll follow right after your late local news. So be with ABC tonight on Nightline with that developing story from the Mideast. Valuable seconds ticking off for the Cardinals. They have been thoroughly handled here tonight with the Redskins. Second and 10. Riggins, the reverse is from Monk. And the former Syracuse running back gets a first down inside the 15-yard line before Wayne Smith and Cedric Mark make the stop. Art Monk had a great career up in Syracuse before coming as a #1 draft pick 6 years ago, not only as a receiver, but as a running back. Riggins now to Monk. And just in a full sprint, sees it inside, knows what he needs for the first down, and he gets it. Ball inside the 15-yard line. You saw Joe Theismann scurrying out of the way. You quarterbacks are rather heady, Joe.
2 years ago, Joe would have tried to throw a block, I believe.
I saw you do it in Tampa Bay, I think. Riggins. Down to the 11-yard line. When we look at these Cardinals, we can't help but be reminded that back in, when was it, 1965? My colleague here in the booth, Joe Namath, was drafted by the very Cardinals.
Yeah, I had a good meeting.
What would they have called you then?
Boy, you
Golden Arch, Broadway Joe? What would it have been?
Mississippi Joe, something like that. Could have been calling me a jerk had I made that move.
They're going to love you out there.
Hey, just kidding, folks in St. Louis. I like it there. Second down. Second down and 7. Ring it. Not quite enough for the first down. It'll be third down, but the seconds ticking away on the clock. David Galloway made the stop.
Big Rigo got 100 yards, so does Rogers. He's looking on the side to the sidelines for Rogers, but I think Rogers is exhausted. There's no way he's coming back.
The first time since 1942 in the Redskins' long history that they've had 2 runners that have gained 100 yards. Third down 4. Didier, told you earlier, he's been having a good year. Here is a receiver that caught so many record-breaking passes from Neil Lomax for Portland State. Good Didier. And Joe Theismann leaps up on Didier. Theismann, who's been taking so much more abuse, really, than the rest of these Redskins, has to be delighted with the performance of his teammates tonight.
This is just a fine catch by Didier. Look at that. Great catch.
On for the conversion is Mosley. And I'm sure Giant players looking on, Cowboy players looking on. Well, I know they're thinking it's back to the drawing board. This is once again a 4-team division.
If mistake.
Cardinals. Steve Cox to kick off, and we're going to see Scott Brunner. Neil Lomax is on the sidelines. I don't think he is seriously damaged. They're trying to get a report. But right now we'll look at Scott Brunner. Came up with the Giants. Had a couple of big years. Between 80 and 83. 81 he took the Giants to the playoffs. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers went on that year to win the Super Bowl. Steve Cox puts it up high. Mitchell lets it bounce off his leg, and it goes out of bounds, and the Red Cardinals will be deep in their own territory for Scott Brunner. Over his career, he's thrown for just about 49%, 28 touchdowns, 48 interceptions. Giants traded him to Denver in '84, and he was hurt throughout the entire season last year. They traded him up to Green Bay, and the Cardinals, feeling a necessity to get a experienced backup quarterback to Neil Lomax, traded for him in August. So here is Scott Brunner out of Delaware. And he is in a very difficult situation. A lot of Redskins defensive linemen are thinking about statistics and contracts to write in bonuses for sacks. Brunner. And he gets the ball to Roy Green, who's been all but shut out tonight. That's his 3rd reception of the night. Heading down to the 2-minute warning. Cardinals not in any desperate hurry to get it off. If they do, and a bad snap, Brunner bobbles it and gets it up. Brunner fires another completion, and it's Roy Green, and he's out to the 43-yard line as we get the 2-minute warning. The Cardinals would get another first down. For the Redskins in the prevent defense, Joe loves so much, gives up another first down. We'll be back. Lomax has exited this game for tonight. There'll be many more to come. We've been told he has a pinched nerve in the left shoulder. We have also been told it's nothing serious. And Scott Brunner is on. We are going to watch Cardinals and Neil Lomax a little later on in this season. November the 4th to be exact. And we'll be in St. Louis for the Dallas Cowboys and the St. Louis Cardinals. 1st and 10 with Scott Brunner at quarterback now for the Cardinals. 1:54 remaining in the game, and the Redskins on top. And they are definitely back in the hunt in the NFC Eastern Division. They lead 27-10. Brunner looks for Roy Green again. And in and out of the hands of Tony Peters, and that might have been 6 easy points. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. And one more reminder, we'll be back in New York for the Jets and the Miami Dolphins a week from tonight. That should be something. We talked so much about Dan Marino, but that young Kenny O'Brien is coming along for the Jets.
He really is. He's not throwing the interceptions. The Jets aren't turning the ball over. They've played 3 good football games the last 3 weeks.
Doing it from the shotgun, 2nd down and 10. Manley trying to get his 4th sack of the night. Goes offside. Funny little gesture on the part of Otis Anderson. A procedure is called against Tootie Robbins, who I don't think is looking forward to another meeting with Charles Mann later in the season, because Mann has really run over him, around him, under him, through him. Really kept him busy, and he gets kind of a little appreciative hand there from Joe Bostic, who, by the way, is the brother of Jeff Bostic, the center for the Redskins, who is on injured reserve. It'll be a very proud Bostic family about these 2 Bostics. Made their way in the world of pro football. 2nd down, 15. Brunner trying to get to J.T. Smith. Almost picked off again.
Well, this is the time of the game, or this is the kind of a situation that I know these wide receivers simply hate to get into. These defensive backs are just laying back there in the grass, and they're going to come up and put a real lick on the man that catches the ball.
It's called getting into the arthritis situation. You just know you're going to get it, and you really like those quarterbacks that keep it down there around the waist. You hate those ones that put it up there about 3 feet over your head, and you know what's going to happen. The back, the ribs, they all get broken. 3rd down, 15. And flag is down. Movement again. And another procedure call. Again is Tootie Robbins, who is bracing himself every time for the charge of Charles Mann. I mentioned earlier that the Philadelphia game in St. Louis that was scheduled to be there next Sunday has been moved because of the possibility of the National League playoffs. That game will be played at Philadelphia this coming Sunday, and the game that was scheduled will be back in St. Louis November the 17th. And of course, speaking of the playoffs, baseball's main event, the World Series, will begin Saturday, October the 19th right here. ABC Sports will present exclusive coverage of the 82nd edition of this Fall Classic live at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And we're all proud of this opportunity. We hope you'll be with us. Catch it here on ABC Sports. 3rd down and 20. Mann got to Brunner once again. He was rushed. Vernon Dean, who went out of the game with a mild concussion earlier, gets the interception, and no one is happier than Tootie Robbins. Charles Mann has made a career out of Robbins today. First for the big youngster out of East Carolina. Hopefully there are other days. Watch the pressure. You'll see it on the right side once again. Charles Mann working against Robbins. Brunner was able to get it off, but he would have loved to have had a little more time. 1st down, Redskins at midfield. Reagan stays on. And you hear the hoots of the diesel horn out of the crowd now as filed out, securing the knowledge the Redskins are back and they are going to have a big victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. Reagan booms for 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Big night offensively for the Redskins on the ground. Joe Theismann directing the attack. Not spectacular. He didn't have to be. 11 of 20, 91 yards. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. But the offensive line has to be congratulated. And the defense has been very opportunistic. 4 interceptions of Neil Lomax. And their special teams has improved dramatically. As Theismann drops to his knee. And under the new rule, you don't even have to touch the quarterback this year. Those are the standings. The Cowboys, with a 1-point victory over the Giants last night, are 4-1 atop of this division. The Giants, Cardinals are locked up at 3-2. Washington at 2-3. And still a big season coming up. We have the Giants coming here later in the season to play the Washington Redskins. We have the Dallas Cowboys November the 4th going into St. Louis. And what has turned into one of the tougher divisions in the NFL today. And we'll be keeping abreast of it as the season progresses. Reagan's on the night, 103 yards. All is well. capital. All is well with Joe Gibbs, who in his first year dropped 5 in a row. They finished 8-8 that year, and they've been in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. Once again, the final score is Washington 27, St. Louis 10. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Stay tuned for ABC News Nightline following your late local news as we continue our coverage of the crisis in the Middle East. Most of you on the West Coast, stay tuned for Hardcastle and McCormick. Travel arrangements made through, and a promotion to be paid by United Airlines. United is the only airline to serve all 50 states. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you next Monday night from New York. It'll be the Jets and the Dolphins. Thanks for being with us.